Oh, what's up, everybody? Today is Sober Day number 136, and I got a very special guest with me here on this Zoom meeting with me, or on a Zoom call. None other than a guy that I found years ago at an event I was on, and then I was lucky enough that he came to work with me, and then I screwed it all up. He's going to tell you some stories. We're actually going to make this a couple-part series, but he's now a successful DJ out on his own with his own company. My man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Dan Wailin. What's up, buddy?
Brother, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I've been dying to tell some of these stories to people.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. And it's funny. So I've had a lot of people reach out to me like, "Oh, I got a story. You got to get me on." I'm like, "Damn, is there that many stories that I have put out there in the world that people are like hitting me up all the time?" But you were around for a lot of the craziness, especially really towards when I really kind of started spiraling out of control, and it actually affected you because personally, for money and your bills and all that, I was screwing up my company at one point, which was screwing with your money.
It was at times it was borderline impossible to get paid on time for a little while. It was always we were waiting for this deposit or we were waiting for this. I'll get you next week. And I was like, bro, I gotta pay rent.
Yeah, I don't even think you got to say borderline. I think it was impossible. I don't think you ever got paid on time.
Yeah,
Towards the end there.
unless I really made you feel bad, unless I like really hit you in the heart, in the feels. But man, like I just want to start off by saying like I wouldn't have stuck around that long if I didn't A, think extremely highly of you, but B, just I love you, bro. I couldn't just disappear. There was something holding me to you. And it all came to a head one day. It was basically the straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh
Let's
man,
just say.
I already know what story it's gonna be. Then
It,
I know which
it's a
one. And
pretty outrageous one.
yeah, and I actually got questions about this, so I'm interested to kind of hear. We've talked about it before, but I still have questions because I was out of my mind at that point. But without further ado, why don't you just get right into it? And oh,
All
by the
right.
way, before we get to the story, if you haven't yet, guys, you want to see more stuff like this, make sure you hit that subscription. I screwed it all up, and I can't even edit this. That's horrible. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and make sure you got your notifications turned on. And now, go ahead.
Man, okay. So let me hit you with a quick preface first, Eric. We were killing it. We were doing really, really, really well. And I worked for you for about what was it, 3 years probably?
Yeah, it was just under 3 years, I think.
It felt like 30 at times, but also it flew by. Uh, but we were like as close as it comes as far as like business partners, coworkers, friends. We were in each other's lives on a daily basis.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I would constantly find myself in situations. I would look around the room. I would analyze the setting, and I'd be like, "How the hell did we get here? What series of events led to us getting here?" And a lot of it, the answer was, "You are so damn convincing. When you want to go do something, you are the most persuasive person imaginable." And that comes with its pros and cons because whew, all right, so
By the way,
back
do you remember
go
my
ahead.
expression? I used to always say, remember, I used to always say, I go, listen, hanging out with me, it gets worse before it gets better, but it always gets better.
And technically you were right then because it definitely seems to get better, and I'm really glad to see that you're just doing this whole thing and just in a better place spiritually, brother.
I appreciate it.
And we were basically a three-man operation. We had a few people that worked with our company, but there was a core three of you, me, and Desmond.
Yeah.
And once I got hired, we quickly realized we could do 2 weddings a day. We can
Yep.
send Waylon off on one, and you'll go do the other. Des will be with one of us, and someone else will be with the other guy. Towards the end, you would try to come to gigs when you didn't have a gig, come to gigs that were for me, but sometimes it felt more like a liability than it was addition by subtract or subtraction by addition actually.
Yeah.
And you were kind of the friend sometimes where it was like, ooh, I gotta watch this guy the whole time. I don't know if he's gonna say anything we're gonna regret or do something. And this day was one of those days. So it was a normal wedding day. you decided to come along with Desmond, and the wedding hadn't even started yet. We're at this beautiful what is it, Mazones
No,
over
Malozzi's. It was
Malozzi's,
Malozzi's.
that's it.
Yeah.
Beautiful Malozzi's venue. We knew the wedding couple already because we did one of their weddings before, so they already really liked us. The ceremony hadn't even started yet, and you're convincing Desmond to leave the facility to go to the liquor store.
Yeah.
And I'm over here like, yo, we got stuff to do. Like we got this to get ready. Like that should be the least of our worries right now. And at this point, I was already really annoyed. But I couldn't leave because I liked you, and we're making a lot of money.
We were making
We were
money.
touching some cash. But so didn't have to be there. Left to go get liquor. Came back. The wedding went pretty well. We did a good job at the actual wedding. And at this time you had a DWI, so we were always we're you good?
It's the dog barker. Austin, shush.
So it was either myself or Desmond that always had to like get you home basically.
Yeah.
But I was driving your car, so it was a I scratch your back, you scratch my type of deal.
Yeah.
But this particular day, you weren't done. Once the wedding was over, you weren't done partying.
No.
You in your persuasive ways got Desmond and I to go across the street to the recovery room.
Yeah, it was walking distance. It was right there.
A short, you could have thrown a baseball to it. And we're still in our elegant suits because if you know Eric or I or Desmond, you know we dress for the occasion. We show up. We look flashy. So it's just three great looking gentlemen sitting at a bar talking to the bartender and ordering food and whatnot. At one point, you try to tell the bartender that we are managers at Price Chopper and we just got off of work. We are in extremely expensive Italian suits. So she's not, and Desmond and I know she's not buying it. But and we also had no money. So Desmond and I had no money, and we thought like you were covering it because you kind of like led the mission, and we let you know we had no money. And at one point, you let us know after we get our food, like, hey, we're gonna have to dine and dash and drink and dash. So we weren't happy about that. It was it definitely put us in a situation that we didn't want to be in. I live 3 minutes from there. Like that, I frequent that recovery room often. But you came up with a plan. You came up with a plan that was going to get us out of this pickle. I'm a very good Pop-A-Shot basketball player.
The best I've ever seen.
The little arcade game, I'm confident I've played thousands of times and maybe only lost 5 times in my life. So you decided we're gonna hustle these young guys over here. They're playing Pop-A-Shot. Let's go see if we could kind of hustle them, lure them into a bet. So you wanted me to do bad the first game. We're just playing for fun. I'm going to do bad. The old billiard hall hustle.
That's exactly what it was.
At the fucking Pop-A-Shot machine. So I do terrible and on purpose. And they're like, oh, this kid sucks. You convince them, let's bet. I believe it was something small, like $20. Let's bet $20. And they're like, okay, put it up. You're like, oh, I got to hit the ATM. We'll just do it right after. Oldest trick in the book.
Yep.
And in my head, all right. In my athletic career, Eric, when the pressure's on, that's when I fail the most. So the pressure was on. The pressure was on, and I'm sweating, Eric.
By the way, at this point, I'm thinking it's a sure thing. I do remember this. I'm like, sure thing. We'll get the money because I didn't go to the bar with the know when I was broke. I remember finding out sometime in between, realizing I was broke, and I'm like, I didn't want to do a dine and dash, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't think of another option. We can't pay the bill. What do you do? Go to the manager, say, hey, sorry, thanks for everything. We can't pay. And we come up with this brilliant plan, or so we thought, because I'm dead. I've never seen him lose, and actually, a lot of people don't know this. Those machines have a max score of 199. He always hits 199. I've
Yeah.
always seen him hit 199. He did not hit 199. Go ahead, continue.
Even at one point when you realized you didn't have money, you even tried calling your wife to switch over some money to the account. I remember, but at this point, she was sick of the shit too, so she wasn't transferring any money over because she didn't know where that was going. So we're stranded. And these guys, they were some young guns. They were some young bucks we were playing against. They were all bigger than us for sure, but we also, me, you, and Desmond, we're a scrappy bunch ourselves.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too worried about like getting fucking pressed about it after. It was just embarrassing. So I lose dreadfully, like
Bad.
not even close. And now I'm pissed. This is the straw that fucking broke the camel's back, Eric. I storm out of there. I get in your car because I'm the designated driver, and I'm waiting for you. I'm calling you. I'm like, if you don't get out here in like 3 minutes, like I just gotta leave.
And by the way, sorry, here's my first question: is Des with you in the car at this time? Am I inside by myself?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I stormed out. Desmond was right behind me, and then I vividly remember you like running across the street to the car like shit was funny, like like we just really got one over on those guys. It was a good time. No,
not only those guys, because we didn't pay them the bet we lost, but now we also got the bill that I didn't pay. I'm sure the waitress, like, if I can go back, this will be one of my goals. I will go back if I can try to figure it out and pay that bill. I would love to. I don't even know. It would have to be the same bartender still there, and they'd have to remember this crazy story.
Did you do that? Because I feel like
I may have called. I may have maybe the next day called and took care of it. I don't know.
You didn't the next day because listen to where you ended up that night. You definitely didn't because. So Desmond gets in his car. He's out. I'm driving you home. We got the trailer on the back of your truck, driving you home, and I've had enough. I've put up with so much, and I've never even really vocalized how truly pissed off I get at you sometimes. Yeah. This was it. So the whole drive home, I'm screaming at you. I'm like, it's enough of the bullshit, Eric. Like I can't take it anymore, man. Like it's always something. We're always in a crazy ass situation that I didn't have anything to do with, really. Yeah. So that's happening while your wife is calling you, telling you to get your ass home. And like, what are you doing? What are we lying about this time? Like, just get home, please. So I'm driving you home. My personal car is out of commission at this moment. So I was driving your truck, and I think she didn't want me to take your truck back because she thought I was drinking. So you have me sneak the car up to your house, and you try to get out ever so quietly and sneak into the house as I pull off. It didn't work because I didn't check my phone the whole drive because I'm not a big texter and driver. But when I got home, my phone is flooded with calls from your wife and a message that said, get the car back here or the cops are going to show up at your house. And I'm just like, what is happening?
And at this point, you're already pissed at me before this happens, let alone now you got to deal with this.
Yes. It was one thing after another. What is happening? I don't want anything to do with this. My first thought was, fuck this. I'm just going to go park the truck 2 streets down and tell them where the keys are. And I'm done. I'm just done. Yeah. So it turns out that night that this was your breaking point as well, really, right? One of the major ones.
Is this the night? So
yeah,
this is the night.
It is. It all ties into one night, which is nuts.
So yeah, so sorry by the way, this is gonna get clipped together because my dumbass had my batteries die on my microphone. I had to wait for my wife to get back. So me and him were just chatting. We were trying to remember where we left off, and I think I remember where we did. So if you guys all remember the story where I told you guys I did the time in jail for my second DWI because I violated probation, this is the night that I violated probation and got arrested. So when he drops me off at home, me and my wife get into a big argument. I flip a table. She is very upset and panics, and this is actually talked about again in mine and my daughter's interview. And she called the police, and before she could tell them, no, everything's fine. He's fine. Like, don't worry. Well, you've already called this man. We got to come. They come. I decide that I'm gonna be a smartass and lock them all out. She goes out to talk to the cops. I lock the door behind her. They come up, try to walk in, and I open up the bay window, right? And I go, "Can I help you?" They go, "Eric, why don't you let us in?" I go, "No, we can talk like this. No need to let you in. Everything's fine here. What's going on?" I'm being a cocky, drunk son of a
And
bitch
they all
asshole.
know you. They all
Oh
are
yeah, they know
familiar
me. Oh
with
yeah,
you at this
Colin and
point.
PD knew me. So so fast forward to they convinced me. They tell me that listen, it's cold out here. Why don't you just let your wife in? I go, hey, listen, I'll let her in, but you guys aren't coming in. Well, they basically kind of tricked me a little bit because I'm an idiot. And when I let her in, I go to shut the door. They kick the door in. Next thing you know, I get arrested. And 4 days later is when I end up in jail for violation of probation, and I do the 9 months in the county jail. And that's how that night ended. And I forgot until you brought this story up that all stemmed from that day.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
crazy. That's what's so great about this channel, and interviewing people. This is not the first time, and nor will it be the last time of people filling in the blanks and me being able to connect the dots in
Hmm.
my life, which is crazy because you think most people would kind of have their own story and know their narrative and know what's happened to them, but I don't because I was drunk for so long that the reality is it all kind of blurs together. I don't remember how I got from A to B a lot of times. I just know I started at A in my life and got to Z, and there's a lot of mixed up letters in between, if that makes sense.
And I'm positive that there was a lot of situations in the past where you didn't even know why you pissed somebody off, like
Oh
or you
yeah,
didn't even know that you did piss somebody off, and you're wondering why they were acting weird.
I'm sure there's people that still don't talk to me to this day that I don't realize I've offended. And in my mind, if I were to actually go through my contact list, the reality could be, um, I might go, "Oh, we just haven't talked for a while." No, I may have done something and I have no clue. And that's what reliving my life sober and putting all this out there is all about for me. Just kind of piecing it all back together, sharing my story. It feels good to get my story out there. And, I've had a few people reach out to me, say some of these stories have helped them realize that they've had a problem. Um, and that's fine. Listen, my goal was never to help anybody else out. I don't mean that selfishly. I don't want that to sound like a dick thing to say. What I mean is this channel was started for me to just kind of relive my life sober, put a few things out there, and it's kind of evolving into its own thing. And if these stories help somebody, great. At the same time, I just did an interview with somebody the other day that'll be released here in the next day or so, and they said laugh at his pain because somebody needs to. I needed a little humility in my life because you were there, and I'm sure it'll be one of the stories we talk about in our series here because you definitely got a lot of stories,
I
and I can
can't.
think of
Yeah, I have
yeah,
a few.
and there's one I could think of where everybody expected me to fall flat on my face because I was on a 4-day bender and had to go do a gig, and you were there called in as a backup, and everybody was more mad at me because I knocked it out of the park and then went back outside and started drinking again because it was the only way to get through the day. But it is because I guess we'll kind of wrap it up with this. It's because people like you stuck back in my corner. Um, there's people that turn their back on me. There's people that, and rightfully so, they have every right to. I deserve nothing at this point. A good friend of mine, Blake, says all the time, we deserve and expect nothing. But, one of the ways I was able to come out of this was because when it was all said and done, and when I finally went sober this time, first of all, you guys had all heard it before, right? We've all heard Eric. Oh, great, Eric's sober
Didn't
again.
believe you.
This will last a little bit. We'll see. And that was another reason why I made this channel was to basically publicly put it out there, like this is me, guys. So if you had any doubts or whatever, yeah, this is what I've been going through. You've all like a lot of people in the industry around here had heard the stories, but boom, now it's coming from my mouth. This isn't you hearing a rumor from somebody else. It's me telling you. I'm gonna tell you the story. One of the reasons I also decided to was because I got pissed. I had people, competitors telling clients my story. I'm like, screw it, I'll tell it myself because I could tell it better. You
Hmm.
know, I'll tell my story. I'll tell my, and I don't clean it up. I put the dirty out there. Like my whole thing is like I'll just put it all out there. That way, like Eminem did in 8 Mile, I'm a
Hmm.
shit on myself before you get a shot to.
And most
Cause
people respect that. Most people will appreciate that.
yeah, but
And the
it
people
is
that don't appreciate it, they just don't get it yet. They'll come around.
exactly, and that's okay. Again, I don't expect nothing. But the reason why I've been able to come out of it like I have is because people like you. Desmond, we mentioned him earlier. Other friends of ours, people we have. I won't put everybody's name in here. I won't name drop like crazy, but people stuck around even when they shouldn't have. And I tell you, if I didn't have that support, I probably would have relapsed by now, if I'm being 100% honest. And so the support does mean a lot to me. I'm doing it for me this time around. All the other times I tried to go sober was to try to quiet everybody up, to just stop all the noise around me. This was the first time I did it because I was like, I need to be sober. The pancreatitis 2 times in the hospital, the getting in trouble again, with the DWIs. I was like, I'm over. I was tired. I was exhausted. I was like, I'm doing it for me this time. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm doing it for myself, and that's why I think I made, because of that and because of the support I've gotten, I think that's why I made it this far. And by the way, while I got John here, I appreciate you. I love you, brother.
Love you,
Thank you
bro.
for sticking with me for all these
Man,
times.
I think we took a much needed break. We didn't talk for a little bit, but I remember talking to my friends all the time about you. Like, there's something about Eric. I see a lot of like myself and like all the people I care about in you. Like, you're a very special person.
I appreciate that.
And like, I just want to see you be great, man. So,
well, we can only go up from here, right? No more going backwards. I'm done going backwards, and
we refuse to.
Exactly. And as the great situation from the Jersey Shore says, the comeback's always greater than the setback.
And Eric, let me ask you one question. Whenever things would be going bad, what was like, and maybe I'm pissed off at you this day, what would you always say? Do you remember? Like, one day we'll be
laughing about all this
on a beach, kicking
on a
our
beach
feet up.
Yeah, I did say that. I'll be like, we'll be sipping Coronas one day, just laughing about all this, man. We just got to get through this. We'll still be sitting on that beach. I just won't have the Coronas.
Absolutely,
you can
brother.
have one, but I won't. Dude, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming on. By the way, anything you want to plug while you're on here?
Man, I've been trying to do the Twitch thing lately. We pretty much throw anything at you. We'll play video games one day, watch YouTube videos the next day, DJ the next day. We're trying to figure it out ourselves. So
what's the Twitch handle?
Twitch.tv/TFL Entertainment. That we do about a couple streams a week at this point. And stay tuned, guys.
That's awesome. I'll put a link in the description below, guys. Again, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Remember, he's got a few more stories. We kind of went to a second one a little bit, but we'll do that one next time in more depth.
This whole notebook is filled with them. I've kept a diary. No, I'm kidding.
But from bottom of my heart, brother, I love you, man. Wailin, thanks so much for coming on. And everybody, we'll see you next time.